Do you ever feel like you don't belong in your own life, like you're just working to survive, while everyone else seems to have the secret to happiness? We often settle for crumbs because we've forgotten we are the owners of the bakery. We live in spiritual poverty because we've lost our true identity. We've been conditioned to think we are small. We focus on our flaws, our lack, and our past, unaware that a royal lineage flows through our veins. The psychological prison is what the Buddha addresses in this chapter. He shows us that our poverty is just a misunderstanding of who we truly are. Imagine a child who ran away from home, lost for decades, living as a beggar, completely forgetting that their father is the wealthiest man in the world. This is the parable of the poor son. It is a mirror for every soul that has ever felt not enough. Let's journey into the mansion. A young man left his father's house and wandered for 50 years. He became poor, ragged, and desperate for any small job. Meanwhile, his father grew incredibly wealthy. He missed his son every day, hoping to hand over his vast treasures. One day, the son happens to stumble upon his father's mansion, but seeing the grandeur, he is terrified. This place is too big for me, he thinks. He runs away. He feels safer in the slums. This is our small mind. We are afraid of our own greatness. The father, seeing his son flee, sends messengers to bring him back. But the son, paralyzed by fear, faints, thinking he is being arrested. The father realizes, my son is too accustomed to poverty. I must use a skillful way to bring him home. He hires two men who look poor and unthreatening. He tells them, go offer him a job cleaning the toilets for double the usual pay. The son accepts. He feels comfortable with this low task. He begins to work at the mansion, still unaware of his father. One day, the father disguises himself. He puts on dirty clothes and carries a basket, pretending to work alongside his son. The father speaks kindly, work hard here, and don't leave. I will treat you like my own son. I'll even give you better food and blankets. The son is moved by this kindness. He stays at the mansion for 20 years, gradually gaining confidence. The father eventually gives him a higher responsibility. Manage my storehouses and count my treasures. You are reliable. Even as he handles the gold, the son still thinks of himself as a servant. He has no greed, but also no sense of ownership. This reflects our relationship with the Buddha's teachings. We study them, but we don't realize they are our own nature. We think enlightenment is for great people, not for us. We settle for spiritual wages instead of the spiritual kingdom. The father watches this and waits. He sees the son's mind expanding, becoming ready for the ultimate truth. The son's inferiority complex begins to dissolve. He feels at home in the palace. The distance between servant and master is closing. Finally, the son is no longer afraid of the wealth. He understands its value. The preparation is complete. For 20 years, the son cleans the mansion. He sees the gold every day, but in his mind, it belongs to the master, never to him. This is the tragedy of the human condition. We touch the divine every day in a sunset, in a breath, but we feel like strangers to it. The father observes the son's diligence. He sees that the son is no longer lazy or narrow-minded, but his self-image is still trapped. The father calls him closer, manager. He says, look after my granaries. Know the exact amount of my wealth. The son spends years counting the treasures. He knows every diamond, every silk, but he tells himself, I am just the bookkeeper. This represents the lower dharma. We follow the rules, we do the rituals, but we don't yet dare to be the light itself. The father gets older. He knows his time is short. He summons all the relatives, kings, and ministers for a grand announcement. The son stands in the corner, thinking he is there to serve the guests. He has no idea the party is for him. Suddenly, the father points his trembling finger at the servant. Everyone, listen. This man is my true son, my flesh and blood. The son freezes. His heart races. Me, his son, the owner of all this? The walls of his limited self-image begin to crumble. The father continues, years ago, he left me. He suffered in poverty. But now, he has returned. All my gold, silver, and lands, they are his. The son experiences a great joy. It is the joy of realizing that the search is over. He didn't have to find the treasure. He had to find himself. This is the core of belief and understanding. To believe is to accept the inheritance. To understand is to know you are always the heir. Why did the Buddha tell this story? Because he knew we suffer from imposter syndrome on a spiritual level. We think we are just human, limited by age, sickness, and death. We don't realize our Father, the eternal truth, is infinite. Why did it take 50 years for the sun to return and 20 more to accept his wealth? Because the mind is a creature of habit. We are addicted to our struggles. We feel safer as a worker than as a master, because being a master requires total responsibility. The Buddha, like the wealthy father, uses skillful means. He doesn't overwhelm us with the whole truth at once. He gives us small tasks: first mindfulness, kindness, ethics. He lets us clean the mansion until we feel worthy of owning it. This is the secret of spiritual growth. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. The poor son represents our ego, the part of us that feels small. The wealthy father represents our Buddha nature, the part of us that is infinite. In the modern world, we are constantly told we are not enough, not rich enough, not young enough, not successful enough. But Chapter 4 of the Lotus Sutra says, the treasure is already in your hands. You are just waiting for the realization. This realization, this understanding, is like waking up from a long, painful dream of poverty into a reality of abundance. You no longer work for wages. You work for the joy of expression. You no longer seek love. You are the source of it. This is the unsurpassed jewel. It is the confidence that comes from knowing you are cherished by the universe itself. Take a moment. Let the poor son within you rest. Let the heir within you stand up and take the lead. The parable of the lost son is more than a story. It is a cosmic permission slip. It tells you that it is finally okay to stop struggling. The father in the story is not a person outside of you. It is the infinite potential within you that has been waiting for your return. Stop living for the scraps of validation from a world that doesn't know your worth. You are the rightful owner of the palace of peace. Every morning you wake up, remember your inheritance. You don't have to earn the light. You were born from it. This deep understanding, this Shanghai, is the end of your spiritual poverty. It is the beginning of a life of true abundance. When you know you are the heir, your fear disappears. You walk through the world not as a servant, but as a benefactor. The treasures of the Buddha wisdom, compassion, and eternal life are already in your ledger. Claim them today. The long journey is over. The Father has seen you. The inheritance is yours. Welcome home to your true self. The ultimate lesson of the poor son is this: your value is not something you create. It is something you claim. You were never a servant. You were only a son who forgot his name. True belief and understanding is the courage to accept your own greatness. Stop living small. You are the missing heir to the universe. Believe, understand, be.